Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the 2019 Mazda CX-5 Signature package. So first and foremost, we're going to do a quick walk around on the Mazda CX-5. Then we're going to take it out to see how it drives. A big shout out and thank you to Mazda here in Southtown for providing us with the vehicle. If you're on the market for a new Mazda, definitely check these guys out. I will put a link to their inventory in the description below so you can check that out. Let's get right into the video. Under the hood here of the 2019 CX-5 Signature, we have a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine that is routed through a 6-speed automatic transmission. In terms of power outputs, it's gonna be good for 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy is gonna be 22 around town and then 27 on the highway. So I have yet to review a Mazda in this color. It is called Sonic Silver. I really like this color. It's actually nicer than the silver that's on my truck. Sad for me to admit that, but it is. You can see that we've got these premium LED headlights with the LED accent lights that go around. And then see you've got some parking sensors there on the front. And then you can see you've got little fog lights just down below. It's kind of hidden right there. And then the very bottom of the bumper is a little bit more durable, so it's not painted. So then if you take this off-road and scratch it up, it's not going to basically trash the front bumper. And then you can see that we've got the Mazda logo, which is also the adaptive cruise control sensor. Got some nice chrome accenting all around that. Around the side here, we have these 19-inch alloy rims that kind of have like a machine gray finish to them. I think they look fantastic with 225mm tires in the front and then in the rear. And then we've got more of that molding. It'll go around the fenders and down below. Like I said, so if you ever do take your CX-5 off-road, you're not going to scrape up all the beautiful Sonic paint. Here's the key fob for the 2019 CX-5 Signature. You've got a couple functions, your lock and unlock, and then your tailgate release. Like the key fob says, just hold that and the tailgate will open. We can see that back here we've got a ton of storage space. The CX-5 is their best seller, and for good reason. It's the perfect size. You have a good amount of storage space back here, and then you've got the second row. But we can pick this up. See, you do get a full spare tire, and then if you do want to release the seat down, you just have to pull this little tab, and then that will throw the seat down. So then you can just pull that down and then throw the seats down and you are good to go. Here's the button to shut the tailgate, so just press that and then the tailgate will slow lower back down. And while it's coming back down, you can see that we've got the CX-5 all-wheel drive badging, and then you got your Sky Active for that turbocharged engine. More parking sensors on the back bumper, and then I love these taillights on the CX-5. So LEDs. Coming around to the back here, we can open up the door panel for the rear, and this is where you're going to see some very nice touches. So you've got full leather on the door with some contrasted stitching, more leather right here. You've got some beautiful black trim, and then you do get some nice wood trim here on the Signature package. These seats, these are the premium Napa leather seats, since this is the Signature package. This is called Couture Brown. It's a very dark brown. It almost looks black, but it is not. It's actually brown seats, which I think go nicely with this silver paint on the exterior. They've got nice perforations on them. And then if we actually pull this down, we can see that this doubles as the cup holder setup. You remember this from the Mazda 6. You've got your little heated seats, and then you can open up that for your USBs. So very practical right there. And then here's some vents for the rear passengers, and then legroom is plentiful. Now up front here, we've got keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then you note that the mirrors will power fold in, and then you just press it again, mirrors will power fold out, and then the CX-5 will unlock. We can see the door panel here in the front will look identical to the one in the rear, so everything pretty much is covered in leather and stitching, and then more of that beautiful wood trim. All of your window controls and mirror controls right there. You can see you've got a speaker for the Bose sound system. Now let's come over to the seats. You can see that we've got full power adjustments on the seats, memory seat function there, and then again with the premium Napa leather, they've got some nice perforations on them. And this Couture Brown, I actually really like this because it's not plain black. It's a different color. It's hard to tell though, so it doesn't look too crazy. And then we can see just down below the pedal layout right here. And then you can see here you've got your little hood release and your gas release. And then there's a couple functions on these buttons. So lane departure assistance, that's your traction control. Parking sensors, your camera, and that's for the tailgate. And then you will note that the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Let's pop into the CX-5. Just put your foot on the brake, push the push start. That'll start it up. The gauges will do a sweep. It'll say CX-5 on it. Got a bunch of different functions on the steering wheel. So we've got our adaptive cruise control function right there. And on the other side, you've got your info for that little center stack. And then you've got these for the radio stations, your Bluetooth, and then volume for the radio as well. And I like the steering wheel in general, the design of it and the feel of it. You've got the Mazda logo in the center, but they use just nice leather on it. It looks and feels nice. There are our gauges. You can see that you've got the temperature gauge and fuel gauge over on that side. In the middle, you've got your speedometer, and then on the right-hand side, you've got your RPMs. And then you see that there's that little center screen, which you can go through a bunch of different options on this. I'll just kind of scroll through that, or you can just leave it blank so that it's just a speedo. And then again, we do have some blind spot monitoring on this car. Did forget to mention that, but that'll pop up in the little side mirror there. We have Mazda's little infotainment screen here. So this kind of doubles up as a touch screen. So you can do functions on it via the touch screen, but you can also use these controls down in this area, basically to scroll through different functions on it. It is really intuitive, really easy to use. The touchscreen response is very quick, and the little button response is quick as well. And then if we actually pop the CX-5 into reverse, you can see a backup camera will pop up. So it's got little trajectory lines on it, but then it does have more tricks with the camera system. If you press this button over here, if you remember the little camera button right there, it'll pop up with a little bird's eye view on the camera, and you can see that it's got like a little frontal camera here. So as I turn right there, so it's nice that it has multiple views on the camera, so it's going to make parking this a lot easier. Got our two little vents right there, and then we've got our heated steering wheel control right here, and this is where all of your climate controls are going to be. So you do get heated and ventilated seats, dual zone climate here, and the CX-5, pretty standard setup. And then we've got some charging stations and some extra storage in that little area down there. Here is the shifter for that 6-speed automatic transmission. There is a manual shift mode. If you want to shift the gears yourself, it's kind of like a little bump stick design. And then there is a sport mode right there. So if we press that, that'll pop in this little part right here. You can see that sport will pop up. That'll make the gear shifts a little bit more aggressive, and then you will get worse fuel economy. Now here's that whole setup for the touchscreen. So the dial to shift between the different menus there on the touchscreen. And then you've got your music button, your home screen button, your navigation, your favorite button, your volume control, and then your back button right there, your parking brake, and then your auto hold if you're on a hill so that the car will stay where it's at. Got some cup holders just behind, and then you can see we've got our little center console right here. So stitching, and we can open this up. You can see there's a little storage tray right there if you want to put that on the top, and then you've got a couple more charging stations in this little center console. And then while we're on the topic of storage, let's cover the glove box. So more of that beautiful wood trim right here. It's a little bit hard to see because of the lighting with the silver accenting. And then we can open up the glove box. You can see it's a decent sized glove box, a large amount of storage actually in general. Now up top here we have the sunroof, so it's just a regular size sunroof right there. You've got all of your controls for it, and then you have your light controls, everything up in this little area, and then they do give you a little sunglass holder, and it's actually padded in there so your sunglasses don't rattle around and break. Wrapping things up on the interior of the Mazda CX-5 Signature, it's a very nice interior. I love these Napa leather seats. Very, very comfortable seats. But again, with Mazda, it's definitely a luxury car feel, but not a luxury car price, because this is the fully loaded CX-5 and it is less than $40,000 before any sort of market adjustment. But that all being said, let's take it out to see how it drives. You can see here we are setting off in the 2019 Mazda CX-5, and this is actually one of my favorite new SUVs on the market, just from like an aesthetic point, but then also just how this SUV drives. You can see here the steering is very direct, and something that you guys won't be able to see in the video but I can just tell you about is the steering feel. So it's got a little bit of weight to it, but it's also direct, so it feels very sporty, which is fun. It makes this SUV a lot more fun to drive, and it handles a lot better in general. As we're coming up here, let's talk about visibility. So you can see visibility over the hood. It's really easy to see there, and then you can see visibility throughout both of the mirrors. Gives you good visibility in general on that side of things. And then as we pull up and stop here, let's look at the visibility in the rear of the CX-5. So you can see just over here, there's a little window that helps out, but visibility in general with the CX-5 is solid. Let's get a little acceleration with the CX-5 to see how it performs. And as you can see with the heads-up display, we get up to speed more than adequately. I love this 2.5-liter turbo that Mazda uses in a couple vehicles in our lineup because it's super solid acceleration-wise. It feels like it's just, I love the feel of it in general. Let's sum things up on this 2019 CX-5 Reserve. Again, with Mazda, I feel like they've done an amazing job with their vehicles. They're super solid offerings. The interior on this car is phenomenal. It has a very high-end luxury car feel to it, but then again, under $40,000, it is such a good deal for this car. You get a ton of luxury features, a ton of safety tech in general, but then you're not paying the luxury car premium for this car either. So I would just say it's a bargain. I mean, I would much rather have this than something like the Audi Q5 or the BMW X5, because I'm going to pay a lot more money for those and not get as many features. And I feel like this drives nicer than those cars, and acceleration is pretty similar. So if you're on the market for a luxury SUV even, check out the new CX-5. And there we have it, everyone, the 2019 Mazda CX-5 Signature. Again, thank you everyone so much for watching. Again, a big shout out and thank you to Mazda here in Southtown, Utah for providing us with the vehicle. If you're on the market for a new Mazda, check these guys out. If you're stopping in for the first time, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and I'll see all of you in that next video.